The only woman who spoke up. Intro. There are things that happen in a workplace that never make it into an email, never show up in a policy, never get written down anywhere, but they shape you. They shape the way you walk into a room, the way you brace yourself in a meeting, the way you learn to hold your own when no one else is holding you back. I didn't realize how much I was carrying until the moments started stacking. Small things, quiet things, things that looked harmless from the outside, but landed heavy on the inside. And I want to speak to that, to the weight women carry at work that no one names, to the silence that follows our truth, to the ways we're asked to hold things together and then left out of what we held. This is about that. This is about being the only woman in the room. This is what I saw, what I felt, and what I refuse to swallow anymore. I've learned what it means to be the only woman in the room, not in a symbolic way, not in a poetic way, in the real fluorescent lit everyday way where the truth shows up quietly and still hits hard. Like the day a coworker talked about his 16-year-old daughter running alone on a remote road. He spoke about her fear like it was something she should outgrow, something she should push past, something she should manage with awareness instead of caution. And I felt the air shift. I felt the silence tighten. I felt the familiar ache of being the only one who understood what her fear meant. Not because I imagined it, but because I've lived it. Because every woman I know has lived it. So I spoke. I spoke for her. I spoke for myself. I spoke for every woman who has ever walked with keys in her hand, who has ever scanned a parking lot, who has ever felt her heartbreak change because a space suddenly didn't feel safe. I spoke because his daughter deserved someone who understood her fear, instead of dismissing it. I spoke because the men in the room didn't realize the conversation wasn't theoretical for me. It was lived experience. And when I finished speaking, the room stayed quiet. Not supportive, not engaged, just quiet. The kind of quiet that tells you you're alone in your clarity. But that wasn't the only moment that taught me something. There was the day we took group photos. I wasn't asked to plan it. I wasn't given direction. I wasn't told what the boss wanted. I was simply told on the spot, organize this. So I did what women do in workplaces that lean on us without noticing the lean. I scrambled. I assessed the space. I chose the background. I made decisions quickly because there was no time to ask questions. I held the logistics together so the moment wouldn't fall apart. And when the photo was done, the photographer, a young woman barely in her 20s, looked at me and said, "Step aside. I'll take a picture of the guys." And I stepped aside, not because I agreed, but because the shock froze the words in my throat. Later, I realized the deepest cut wasn't the exclusion. It was that another woman, so young she didn't yet see it, had already absorbed the hierarchy, already learned who counted as the group, already learned to move me out of the picture I was told to create. She didn't invent that pattern. She inherited it. And I felt the weight of being the woman who sees the truth even when others don't. And then there was the birthday. The office was decorated for the others. Streamers, cards, small gifts, a celebration woven into the workday as if it was a second nature. Their birthdays were remembered before the month even began. Mine, it came and went in silence. No decorations, no card, no acknowledgement, just Monday morning, just work, just me walking into a room that didn't notice I had turned another year older. And the part that stung wasn't the lack of celebration. It was the scramble afterward. The sudden rush to pretend it had simply slipped his mind. The hurried card placed on my desk. The apology that didn't match the truth I already knew. And because I managed his calendar, I saw my birthday sitting there the entire time. I saw the reminder. I saw the date. I saw the space where care should have been. And in that moment, I understood something I didn't want to understand. It wasn't an oversight. It was a reflection of how easily I'm overlooked. The workplace has taught me how exclusion doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks like a birthday forgotten while others are celebrated. Sometimes it looks like a team event planned around interests I was never asked about. Sometimes it looks like being pointed out as the one who wasn't invited to that event instead of the one who wasn't considered. And sometimes the deepest cut comes from another woman. One so young she doesn't yet see the world taught her to lift the men into the frame and shift me out of it. So my heart is heavy because I feel all of it, because I see all of it, because I live all of it, because I live in a place where I'm supposed to feel like part of a team. But heaviness isn't weakness. It's awareness. It's clarity. It's the truth of being a woman who sees what others overlook and carries what others set down without realizing it was weight. I see the women in workplaces everywhere. The ones who speak up when silence would be easier. The ones who hold the emotional climate so the room doesn't tip. The ones who keep things running without being credited. The ones who show up fully, even when the workplace doesn't show up for them. And I see myself among them. Not separate, not the exception, not the outlier, but part of the quiet lineage of women who hold things together even when the workplace forgets we're the ones keeping it upright. I honor the women who hold it together because I am one myself, because I know the weight, because I know the vigilance, because I know the ache of speaking truth into a room that wasn't built to hear it. And even with a heavy heart, I remain present, not because the workplace makes space, But because I refuse to disappear in the spaces I help hold up.